Neville Longbottom's eagerness in wanting to avenge his parents is always a scene that remains in my head from the Order of the Phoenix.
How's Mum and Dad?
Better now they're about to be avenged.
Because it's one of the first scenes that we see Neville put himself in the firing line in an effort to right the wrong done to him and his family. And what a wrong that was. Because his parents Alice and Frank suffered a horrific fate, a fate that many considered worse than death. This is the story of the attack on Alice and Frank Longbottom. Both Alice and Frank attended Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. It was here that they met and fell in love. They were also both very studious and had similar goals in that they both wanted to become Aurors. It could be due to these common interests that led them to becoming a couple. After graduation, Alice and Frank got married. They were quite young to do so, but due to the outbreak of the First Wizarding War, it was common for young couples to tie the knot. The Longbottoms both became Aurors, and esteemed ones at that. In fact, they were so incredibly talented, skilled and powerful that they quickly garnered a reputation as fearsome Aurors and captured many Death Eaters during the war. The Longbottoms also gained massive respect from the wizarding community for their efforts, and even joined the Order of the Phoenix to continue the fight against Lord Voldemort and his dark forces. At the end of 1979, Lord Voldemort was at the peak of a reign of terror in the First Wizarding War. He was told of a prophecy made by Sybil Trelawney to Albus Dumbledore during a job interview. Trelawney told him of a boy who would be born in the closing days of July 1980, whose parents have defied Voldemort 3 times and lived the tale to tell it. He would have a power that Voldemort was unable or unwilling to comprehend, who could one day kill him, and that Voldemort would pick the child who was equal to him. There were 2 children born at the end of July. On July 30th, Neville Longbottom was born to Frank and Alice. However, Neville was pureblood, while the second child born the very next day, Harry Potter, was half-blood like Voldemort. Voldemort picked Harry, believing he was the danger to him, and he saw himself in Harry before even seeing him. However, the Death Eaters were aware about the situation with Neville and Harry, and remembered that fact when Lord Voldemort went missing and presumed dead, following the showdown between him and Lily Potter on October 31st, 1981. 4 Death Eaters came to the conclusion that Frank and Alice Longbottom knew information about what happened to the missing Voldemort and where they could find him. The truth being that the reign of Lord Voldemort ended abruptly with the Dark Lord's downfall. While some Death Eaters pretended to have been bewitched into doing Lord Voldemort's bidding, and others were killed by Aurors, yet others were arrested and imprisoned, some Death Eaters remained at large. Though the Dark Lord had fled, some refused to believe it. The danger was not yet over. Frank Longbottom was the first to be captured. He was subjugated and imprisoned at an undisclosed location before being heavily tortured by all 4 Death Eaters with the Cruciatus Curse. The Death Eaters were hoping to find information about their fallen master in order to locate the Dark Lord and restore him to power. The group was convinced that the Longbottoms were involved with the Dark Lord's fall because they were included in the prophecy. Unaware that Lord Voldemort had fled to Albania, Frank Longbottom could not give them what they wanted. However, this did not discourage the 4 assailants from trying to uncover Voldemort's whereabouts. The torture resulted in Frank being so physically and mentally depleted that he spiraled into insanity. When he was unable to provide them with any more useful information, they next targeted his wife Alice. She was kidnapped and tortured in the exact same manner. Although she had no knowledge of Voldemort's whereabouts, she was forced to endure the same torture and met the same fate as her husband. Albus Dumbledore sums it up best when he was quoted saying, "The Longbottoms were very popular. The attacks on them came after Voldemort's fall from power, just when everyone thought they were safe. Those attacks caused a wave of such fury as I have ever known. The Ministry was under great pressure to catch those who had done it. Unfortunately, the Longbottoms' evidence was, given their condition, none too reliable. The four Death Eaters in question were Barty Crouch Jr. and Bellatrix, Rodolphus and Robastien Lestrange. All four of the torturers were captured shortly after the attack and were brought before the Council of Magical Law for trial. Bartmus Crouch Sr. presided primarily over the hearing, which was short and merciless. His son, Crouch Jr., screamed continuously at his father that he was innocent and begged fruitlessly for mercy. Crouch disowned his son, causing his wife to faint. The crime was described as so heinous that such a crime was rarely heard of in the court. The crowd roared savage pleasure when Crouch announced that he planned to send the four Death Eaters to Azkaban for life and that the sentence was given without question. Bellatrix Lestrange had happily told Crouch Sr. at the end of the trial that their master would come for them, and in January of 1996, Voldemort initiated a mass breakout from Azkaban, which set free 10 long-imprisoned Death Eaters, including Bellatrix, Rodolphus and Robastien. So many Harry Potter fans wished to see some sort of recovery or miracle happen for Neville to get his parents back to their previous healthy mental state. However, sadly, it wasn't to be. J.K. Rowling stated in an interview, "I know people really wanted some hope for that, and I can quite see why, because in a way, what happens to Neville's parents is even worse than what happened to Harry's parents. The damage that is done, in some cases with very dark magic, is done permanently." The continuous use of the Cruciatus curse destroyed the victim's sanity. The curse is so excruciatingly painful that it was created solely for the purpose of extracting information from someone. That's the most disturbing part of the attack. The Longbottoms didn't have the information. They couldn't stop the attack even if they wanted to. They had no choice to end their horrific suffering. Surely had Alice Longbottom known any information on Lord Voldemort's disappearance, then could we really blame her disclosing it to the four Death Eaters after seeing the condition her husband was left in? I for one certainly wouldn't hold it against her, because family would always come first. Even Xenophilius Lovegood sacrificed his own morals in the hope that he could save his daughter Luna by disclosing Harry Potter's whereabouts when he came to visit him. Alice couldn't even save herself because she was given an ultimatum without any release. Following the attack, both Frank and Alice were moved to the Janus Thickey ward at St Mungo's Hospital for magical maladies and injuries in London. Neville Longbottom, their son, was sent to live with his grandmother Augusta, Frank's mother, and visited his parents for Christmas and on summer holidays. Neither one recognised Neville as their son, but they did acknowledge his presence and recalled that he was a loved one. Alice gave him chewing gum wrappers every time he came to see them, so many that he could paper his bedroom with them if he so desired. The attack on his parents deeply affected Neville. He grew up hearing stories from his grandmother Augusta about their bravery and how much the wizarding community respected them. Unlike Harry Potter, Neville was actually told by his grandmother exactly what happened to his parents. And to be honest, it was part of the reason he struggled with his confidence early on in school. But that was because he just wanted to make them proud. Even though he didn't have the childhood with him that he always craved, they were still his motivation to live up to the Longbottom name, to which he did by the end of the books. But my question is, do you believe Frank and Alice suffered a fate worse than death? And do you think it would have been more humane by the Death Eaters to have just killed them after failing to extract the information? Let's get this discussion going in the comment section below, guys. Let me know what you think. That is all for today's video, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I encourage you to please subscribe and share my videos if you like my content, because without your help, the channel cannot grow. And with that being said, making videos on a regular basis does cost time, money and a serious amount of effort. However, I absolutely love making videos. It's my dream and it's my passion. So if you'd like to contribute to helping the channel to grow for just $1 a month minimum through Patreon, it truly helps, and it means that I can put fewer ads in my videos as my Patreon grows. You don't have to donate. This is just on the kindness of your heart. The link is in the description below, and please make sure to check out my other videos that will appear on screen and my merchandise link below too. I also have a second channel called Game of Thrones Lore that will have regular content uploaded on it very soon. Thanks again for watching everyone, it means the world to me and I hope you all have a fantastic day.